everyone. Welcome to this episode of Leaf by Leaf, a podcast where we learn about and appreciate plants, where to find them, how to care for them, and much, much more. Here's Sophie to tell us all about it.
In the quiet hum of a garden, the seemingly simple legume plant may hold a secret to nature's most critical ecological partnerships, one that allows the soil beneath our feet to thrive. This relationship, known as nitrogen fixation, is a symbiotic dance between legumes and bacteria that has been happening for millions of years, almost unnoticed by the casual observer. However, beneath the surface, this bond is an engine of fertility that sustains entire ecosystems and even human agriculture. It is a story that intertwines science, history, and the unseen magic of nature's underground network. The discovery of this remarkable process changed our understanding of soil health, plant growth, and how we approach agriculture. The relationship between legumes and nitrogen-fixing bacteria began to take shape in the mid-19th century, but it wasn't until the late 1800s that scientists began to understand its true significance. The key figures in this discovery were Martinus Beijerinck, a Dutch microbiologist, and Sergei Winogradsky, a Russian scientist. Beijerinck's work focused on isolating the bacteria involved in the process, which he called symbiotic nitrogen fixation. At the same time, Winogradsky's research expanded on the role of microbes in transforming nitrogen into a usable form for plants. Beijerinck's discovery came after years of experimentation with legumes and the bacteria known as rhizobium, which infect the roots of leguminous plants, forming nodules where nitrogen is fixed. This breakthrough unlocked a wealth of knowledge about how plants could survive in nitrogen-poor soil without requiring synthetic fertilizers, which were often expensive and unsustainable. What is truly captivating about this partnership is the precision and mutual benefit. Legumes such as peas, beans, and clover can fix nitrogen from the air into a form that plants can absorb, ammonia. Nitrogen is a critical plant nutrient, forming the building blocks of proteins and DNA. However, most plants cannot use atmospheric nitrogen directly. Here is where the bacteria come in. Within the nodules that form on the roots of legumes, rhizobium bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen N2 into ammonia NH3, a process called nitrogen fixation. The plant provides the bacteria with carbohydrates, while the bacteria in return give the plant a form of nitrogen it can use. This cooperative exchange is one of nature's most fascinating partnerships. This mutually beneficial relationship allows legumes to thrive in soil that would otherwise be inhospitable to many other types of plants. What's even more remarkable is that the process of nitrogen fixation not only benefits the legumes themselves and improves the soil for other plants in the area. As the legumes take in the nitrogen they need and release the excess into the soil, they effectively fertilize the earth for other plants to benefit. In this way, legumes help build and maintain soil fertility in agricultural systems, reducing the need for chemical fertilizers and contributing to sustainable farming practices. This is why legumes are often grown in rotation with other crops. They enhance soil health and improve yields over time. But the story of nitrogen-fixing relationships doesn't end with legumes. Nature is full of other fascinating partnerships that involve nitrogen fixation. Perhaps one of the most historical examples is using aquatic lycophytes, a group of ancient fern-like plants, in fertilizing rice paddies across Asia. These plants can fix nitrogen through a mutualistic relationship with certain types of cyanobacteria, sometimes called blue-green algae. These bacteria also reside in specialized nodules in the roots of the lycophytes, converting nitrogen into a usable form for the rice plants. For centuries, Asian farmers have relied on this natural nitrogen fixation system to maintain healthy and fertile rice fields, a practice that continues in some regions. Using lycophytes as natural fertilizers in rice paddies is a striking example of how ancient practices have shaped modern agriculture long before synthetic fertilizers were introduced. This interdependence between plants and bacteria has been recognized as an essential process in the Earth's nitrogen cycle, which maintains balance in ecosystems. Without nitrogen-fixing bacteria, many of the plants that sustain human life would not be able to survive in nitrogen-poor soils. The ability of certain plants, especially legumes, to work alongside these microorganisms is a critical component of the food webs that sustain terrestrial life. It's also worth noting that while Rhizobium is the most well-known bacterium associated with legumes, other genera, such as Bradyrhizobium, also play a significant role in nitrogen fixation, depending on the legume species and the environmental conditions. In modern agriculture, the recognition of the importance of legumes in nitrogen fixation has sparked renewed interest in sustainable farming practices. As climate change and soil degradation concerns mount, agricultural scientists look to this ancient practice as a model for future farming techniques. By incorporating more legumes into crop rotations and reducing reliance on synthetic nitrogen fertilizers, farmers can improve soil health and decrease their environmental impact. Using cover crops like clover in rotation with cereal crops is one way to implement nitrogen-fixing plants into modern agricultural practices. However, the symbiotic relationship between plants and bacteria doesn't always work perfectly. Environmental factors such as soil pH, temperature, and moisture levels can influence the efficiency of nitrogen fixation. In some cases, introducing nitrogen-fixing crops into soil heavily depleted of nutrients may not produce immediate results. Scientists continue to study how this complex process can be optimized, particularly for regions where soil health is compromised. What is clear, however, is that the partnership between legumes and nitrogen-fixing bacteria is a marvel of nature and a key to solving some of the world's most pressing agricultural challenges. It offers a window into a future where farming practices work harmoniously with nature to restore and sustain the land for generations. As our understanding of these relationships deepens, so does our potential to create a more sustainable world for plants and people.
Leaf by Leaf is all about learning and enjoying plants worldwide. We plan to release episodes at least once per week, and we hope you'll come back to join us. Our home is on Spotify, but Leaf by Leaf is distributed to other important podcast platforms like Apple Podcast and iHeartRadio. Please consider following us so you'll be notified when new podcasts are released. Until next time, Sophie and I wish you success with your indoor and outdoor gardening adventures.